So Galen, same question. Do you want me to reread it? In the off-campus community, many residents express concerns about inappropriate student behavior. For example, noise, urinating on the lawns, etc. How will you respond to community concerns about the lack of civility amongst University of Guelph students?
I think it's interesting because I sort of have two responses for this. One, that we all, as students, are also residents of the city of Guelph, and I would like to see us act as responsible citizens and be able to work that relationship back and forth. It also highlights how I think there's not really cut and dry issues. You know, there's different people representing different needs, and that's a skill that I really have of bringing people together around those ideas. I think we have some really great community initiatives here on campus that go out into the community, such as Trick or Eat, the meal exchange program, to have a positive relationship with the residents of Guelph. There will be people who will be resistant to students even if we're behaving. I think it's important to be able to show a positive image from the students, and also be able to create opportunities where the city, if they do have concern, for the residents to be able to voice those concerns. As local commissioner, that's something I'd seek to do, is to hear what the city issues has with the students and back and forth. So, thank you.
Same question, Anastasia?
So I'm glad that my lawn has never been urinated on, and I lived in a house full of students. So I think that there can be a little bit of nervousness when students enter a residential area, as Galen said, residents. I think that this question is actually a really, really good one, because I mean, when you first get off campus and you have sort of the run of the joint, it's hard to sort of keep yourself in check and learn that. So those monthly tendency workshops that I mentioned, that is going to be a huge part of it. Knowing how loud you can have a party on campus to, how late you can play loud music, what your duties are as a tenant is all going to be part of those monthly tenancy workshops. So it's not going to be just how, what your landlord and what your community owes to you, but also how to responsibly interact with that community.
The last question is for Jeff first. It's for Galen first. The CSA executive works with a non-hierarchical structure and is supposed to be consensus-based. How will you work with the other executives even when you differ on certain issues?
This is a great question. This is right in line with my fourth point of my platform. I have had training and experience in consensus building, mediation, conflict resolution, crisis management. I've worked in many group settings, many consensus group settings. I actually currently serve right now as the clerk of a 150-member Quaker group that is 18 to 35-year-olds from across North America, and the clerk is the person who builds the consensus of that group. And so I have a lot of experience bringing people together, trying to find that shared goal, that common idea. And it's true, the structure does necessitate that collaborative effort. And right now, I think that the CSA, individually, they do great work, and I would like to see being able to bring us together so that we have a united voice, so that we can work towards consensus. I have a ton of experience and a ton of skills to bring those things together, and I really want to emphasize that the CSA could do a lot more, could achieve a lot more for its potential as far as representation, not just as a service provider. Thank you.
Thank you. Anastasia, same question.
There are multiple organizations on campus, such as OPER and GERCED, that run consensus decision-making workshops, and they also operate under these principles. I think we have access to a lot of resources that make use of this type of decision-making every day, and I think it would be great to be in consultation with them and receive training of all the executives in order to work under this sort of cohesive mandate that we have. I also think that it's important for executives to take the time to understand where the others are coming from. A more united front, I think, to students would be helpful, and that pressure will sort of filter down to the executive level. And knowing that they have to say to students, this is where we stand, it'll then solidified decisions.
Thank you. For those of you coming through the UC, this is the All Candidates Forum. The local affairs commissioners are up there. They are the people representing you in the local community. This goes from everything from the bus pass to the food bank. So feel free to come by and listen to what they have to say. We'll now give them a chance for their closing statements.
Jeff, if I can, I don't think I had a chance to answer that.
I apologize. You're right. Jeff.
Thank you. I think the biggest thing, I do agree, collaborative decision-making, consensus building is very important. But I think probably the most important issue is communication. I think a lot of the problems that the executives had have been over lack of communication, people working at doing things without proper consultation and things like that. So if we can make sure the executives remain talking to each other specifically, and also consulting other groups on campus before decisions are made, I think that will save us a lot of time and a lot of problems like that. But I do think that there will be times when executives are going to have different opinions. This isn't a group that is representing like a single voice. There are many different voices on campus, and there will be people with different opinions. So I think we should go in very strongly with our convictions and try to work with them, but also understand when people have different opinions. Thank you.
We'll now have closing remarks, starting with Anastasia.
Okay, so in my platform I talk a lot about empowering students and connecting them with the larger community. I do have experience doing that. I've been an events coordinator for Golf Queer Equality for the past year, and worked with that organization the year before, doing largely the same work. It's just, I find personally reaching out to other organizations, networking, community building I feel that it is extremely important to this particular portfolio, and it's something that I relish. I can't wait to represent students, and you can check out my platform, so I'm not going to go into that anymore. But I just want to say that it's so wildly important for students to get involved and vote in this election. I hope everybody in here is listening. If you're not voting in the CSA elections, do it, plan on it, read the platform, see what works for you, and vote. It's not so, it is difficult to be up here. I think we can all say that campaign week hasn't been easy, but I never thought I could do something like this. I never pictured myself running for any sort of position of power, but it's just about getting where you need to be in order to achieve your goals. So empowering students, and I find that being the local affairs commissioner would be the place for me to do that. And I think that if I can do it, anybody can. And I want to be a resource to students on getting involved, and a resource to students on knowing how powerful they really are and that they can